Hey, good morning, guys. Able to hear me? आवाज सुनाई दे रही है? I know it got a little late today. Um, had some issue with the tech part. Able to hear me? Yes. Okay, so without wasting much of a time, or because we already started a little late, so let us begin the discussion. Today, I wanted to, as part of the current affairs, I wanted to discuss a couple of things about the Uniform Civil Code. I mean, obviously, it's been in news. Obviously, it's been in news a lot. Uniform Civil Code. What is Uniform Civil Code, etc. Why we need it at this point of time, or what's the advantages? What are the disadvantages of actually having a Uniform Civil Code? So another dimension that we have to really try to understand. And um, so Uniform Civil Code basically concerns with the um, religious rights and personal rights, as Supreme Court's inquiry on religious freedoms remains unresolved. I mean, the it's basically a system where all people, all citizens of India will be treated under the same civil law. I mean, rather than having a separate Hindu civil law or Muslim civil law, or those kind of stuff, we're going to have same treatment for all. Article 44 of the Constitution actually lays down the rules for a uniform civil code for the citizens throughout the territory of India. I mean, the concept of UCC is actually based on the idea of equality and uniformity of law, or uniformity of people above in front of the law, and it concerns mainly with the current government practices, such as also particularly civil matters, mainly dealing with marriage, divorce, adoption, succession, inheritance, and those kind of stuff. It primarily deals with those. Now, yes, mainly this same persons, because we currently do not have that for Hindus and Hindu subgroup. I mean, which is Buddhists and Jains. It's a different sort of legal system that we have, and for the others, we have a different legal system. So we are working out on that. The idea of uniform civil code basically emerged as a response to the fragmentation and as a means to the promote of common civil identity. And the idea was to recognize different communities and give them that sort of identity. Goa, under the Portuguese Civil Code in 1961, in fact, you say, is one of the only Indian territorial states to actually have a uniform civil code in practice. I mean, Goa has something called the Portuguese Civil Code, the Portuguese Civil Law. So Goa maintains the Portuguese Civil Code as of today, and that sort of remains active even today. I mean, even after long after the Portuguese government is gone, Goa may the civil code still remains. In Goa, the civil code pattern still remains. So hopefully that will be an inspiration for us to have uniform civil code. Good morning, Shreyansh. And Nehru, back India's first Prime Minister, Nehru also envisioned a modern and progressive India. Saw India based on equality, based on freedoms, and based on liberty, and based on uniform civil code. The Hindu code bill sought to codify and modernize many of the Hindu personal laws relating to marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance. In the very beginning, in the 1950s itself, we had something called the Hindu Code Bill, and we tried to codify all these legal systems and law systems. I mean, also Nehru believed that Uniform Civil Code will actually help eliminate divisions among the people on the basis of their religion, on the basis mainly to promote blanket or straight equality among the people. The Civil Code has always been seen as a step towards the Hindu Code Bill's amendment have always been seen as a step towards the Uniform Civil Code, and we've always believed that Uniform Civil Code was they track where we actually wanted to go. I mean, eventually, Shabano case back in the 80s is one of the most important cases which highlighted the importance of uniform civil code to ensure gender justice, equality of women across religious communities, because there was no provisions for alimony and divorce settlements, particularly in Islamic marriage in case of a divorce, and so that part had to get fixed, and that attempt was done under the uniform civil code to fix that. And while Supreme Court favored uniform civil code, and has also at times given the example of Goa as a um, like for example, Muslim women who are from Goa or who are registered in Goa cannot actually practice polygamy. No, polygamy can be done. But look, do we have one directly for the entire country? Not yet. The Constituent Assembly has consistently, and during its existence as well, the Constituent Assembly consistently focused or highlighted on the importance of the Uniform Civil Code and why we kind of have to make sure that Uniform Civil Code exists to promote gender equality, secularism, while others expressing concerns about preserving religious and cultural identities or cultural rights. Now, depends, guys. Article 44 gives us a provision. Directive principles of state policy requires the government also to do every effort possible to promote uniform civil code throughout the country, bring a sort of civil equality among the people. And uniform civil code is also, I mean, according to Supreme Court, is also observed as a way or a path to promote secularism in India by ensuring equal treatment of all citizens irrespective of their religious affiliations. Yes, and Constitution of India guarantees equality before the law under Article 14. UCC will uphold the principles of equal rights, equal treatment of all citizens. And also, Uniform Civil Code tends to give us gender justice. Particularly as we observed in the Shabano case, it can be a great opportunity for ensuring gender justice, that in Hindu women and Muslim women are both actually treated the same way, regardless of their sort of religious background or religious setup. So both can be get the same thing. Now, there are two types of laws, guys, in India. There is a Hindu personal law and the Muslim personal law. Hindu personal law mainly works on the reformed Hindu personal law, and also we also have the Special Marriages Act 1954 under the Hindu personal law, which ensures intercaste marriages, registered type of marriages and all that. Whereas for Muslims, Muslim personal law is what works uh, as understood, as developed by All India Muslim Personal Law Board. But if a Muslim is registered under the Special Marriages Act, they no longer under the Muslim Personal Law. Special Marriages Act is like interreligious marriages. If a Muslim marries a Hindu, and such a Muslim cannot go by Muslim Personal Law at this point of time. Now, what are the benefits of UCC? Number one, national integration and secularism. It will create an Indian identity, secularism, by treating all religions equally and reducing communal conflicts. Uniform Civil Code will also give us gender justice and equality. Yes, by removing all sort of discriminatory laws, granting equal rights to women in marriage, divorce, and inheritance, etc. It empowers actually women and upholds their fundamental rights. Then simplification of the legal system, because look, if the Uniform Civil Code doesn't simplify the legal system, because currently the legal schools are suffering from excessive backlogs because there are too many civil codes to actually understand. There are just too many. So, Uniform Civil Code can give us an opportunity to sort of harmonize both civil and criminal laws, and modernization and reform. Currently, the reform practices, it modernizes many of the situations and conditions of the civil code. I mean, it helps people to redevelop and re-understand, and fits the society to the modern places. Now, what are the challenges with Uniform Civil Code? So, Uniform Civil Code bill, obviously, if Uniform Civil Code is suggested or even tried to implement, There are some severe challenges, obviously. Number one, very diverse personal laws and customary practices exist in India. They kind of bring us, you can say, diversity. So by emphasizing on uniform civil code, chances are we may be emphasizing too much on unity than diversity. Good morning, Ramya. So, um, and many laws which are undocumented or contradictory can go through legal troubles. Good morning, Singham. So, Uniform Civil Code particularly faces severe opposition from religious minorities and other minorities. Now, basically, because many religious minorities really believe that Uniform Civil Code is a path for the mainstream religion to encroach into the religious and social practices of the minorities. So it is basically seen as a threat to the existence of minorities. And also, look, yeah, especially among tribals and Northeast. Also, lack of political will. One of the biggest problems I'll tell you is no political party has so far shown honesty and the willpower to actually develop and implement uniform civil code. Good morning, Kunal. So, by sort of talking about uniform civil code, a political party may would want to have a stand. Now, in politics, if you take a stand, you're standless. So, and also practical difficulties. Uniform Civil Code involves substantial effort like drafting, codifying, harmonizing, rationalizing personal laws and practices. And what all will you codify? I mean, what all can you codify? Right? And how much will you codify? The extension is too big, no? There's just there is just too much. It's not going to be such an easy task. I mean, इतना आसान भी नहीं है यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड को implement करना. I mean, see, passing a bill is easy, guys. Passing a bill is comparatively easy. That is cakewalk. Actually, making sure that whatever is passed is properly, honestly, confidently implemented is going to be a challenge. There are three important cases which actually support Uniform Civil Code. Is number one, Shabano case, 1985. It highlighted the need for a Uniform Civil Code to remove contradictions based on ideologies. Shabano case, 1985. And then the second is Sarla Mugdal case, 1995, where it emphasized how Uniform Civil Code will thankfully prevent fraudulent conversions and bigamous marriages. And the Shaira Bano case, 2017, where Supreme Court eliminated the instant triple talaq as unconstitutional violator of Muslim women dignity. Um, it recommended that the parliament enact a law to regulate Muslim marriages and divorces. So, three cases: Shabano case, Sarla Mugdal case, and Shaira Bano case. Okay. Like, for example, I'll give an example of the Sarla Mugdal case. Typical example is Dharmendra, film actor Dharmendra. Just for the sake of marrying Hema Malini without dissolving his first marriage, he converted to Islam and married her. So that is when, yes, Supreme Court observed Something similar like this happened in the Sarla Mukdal case, and Supreme Court observed that people cannot just use religion as a tool to escape law. That's very important topic which is happening. So will we be able to really implement Uniform Civil Code? God knows. Will it really succeed? God knows. Is it going to be easy? No, no, never. It's going to be a major challenge now. Next question. Next current affairs which was in news is, you know that yesterday Holland actually issued an apology marking 150 years of abolishment of Suriname and Dutch colonies in the Caribbean. Dutch King William Alexander and Prime Minister Mark Rutte acknowledged that the Dutch role or the Netherlands role in transatlantic slave and slave trade, and also expressed their remorse for the atrocities committed against enslaved people and their descendants by Holland. Now, this is coming at a very unique juncture. I mean, after Canada, now it remains Netherlands is one of the most important countries which is apologizing for whatever they've done. So, see, naturally, this is just an apology. There is no discussion on reparations and no discussion on modern day racism, which is continuing even today. By apologizing and seeking forgiveness, Dutch or Netherlands actually aim to address the moral implications of their actions and promote reconciliation and justice. I mean, there is an importance needed. See, Northern Hemisphere, particularly European countries, have to come down to at least expressing remorse for what they've done during the colonization period. I mean, the reality is these people believed in the Darwinian theory of superiority of the white man. And it is that Darwinian principle which led to colonization and eventual suffering of the blacks. In the wake of France actually going through a racial war, racial civil war, Netherlands actually apologizing for their colonial past is a big, it's a big achievement. Oh, the slave trade between colonies refer to transportation of trade of enslaved Africans from Africa to European Union, primarily during the period of European colonization of the world. The slave trade was entirely driven by economic interests and resulted in exploitation, suffering, and loss of millions of African lives. In fact, humans were traded as commodities by the European merchants, particularly African humans. Netherlands has had a very, let's say, big history with colonization. In the 16th to 19th century, they established the Dutch East India Company, which was mainly active in the present-day Indonesia. Dutch gained control over spice routes and they exploited the resources. And Dutch colonies exploited the resources, particularly the Indonesian region. They used to call it Dutch East Indies. And Netherlands also imposed forced labor, plantations, harsh policies, particularly rubber. Rubber was a very important commodity which these Dutch were actually looking in Netherlands. Between 17th to 19th century, the Dutch West Indies Company was established, which worked on the transatlantic slave. And it profited from the enslavement and trade of Africans. The Dutch golden age was actually 17th century, where uh, the Dutch East India Company, VOC, Verenigde Oost-Indische Compagnie, actually gained substantial amount of experience, economic prosperity, cultural achievements, and scientific advancements due to colonial trade and dominance. In fact, Amsterdam, Dutch capital, became the center of the world, center of the trade. Dutch had colonies in Caribbean, including Suriname, Curacao, Saint Eustachius, and others. धीरे धीरे करके Dutch actually gave up on them, and um, they left. They went through decolonization. Dutch colonial period actually left a lasting impact on the language, literature, and legal systems and cultural practices in Suriname. Like for example, Suriname. If you go, two interesting developments which happens in Suriname is Suriname has a lot of Indians. A lot of Indians, just like Mauritius, yeah, Maldives. Then Suriname also has literally a past which looks exactly like Dutch, like Holland. Dutch buildings, Dutch palaces, Dutch style of roads, Dutch style of town planning. Everything is Dutch. Even today, after independence. आज़ादी के इतने साल बाद भी सुरीनाम में वो डच इन्फ्लुएंस बहुत ही एविडेंट है इन डच पैलेसेस एक्सेट्रा. See, Dutch colonization in India was also character. I mean, Dutch in the entire Dutch colonial history, India played a very small role, guys. It was not very big, guys. They had a settlement in Machilipatnam in 1605, one of the first, and Dutch focus was primarily on textiles. In fact, always remember that Dutch was actually the first to export textiles from India. They were the first who made cotton a commodity for trade. Dutch also had control over Sri Lanka and built forts. Unfortunately, in 1741, the Battle of Kolachal, Dutch were defeated by Martanda Varma of Travancore state, a native king. Eventually, Dutch also fought the Battle of Bedara, and subsequent wars between British and Dutch in India led to complete loss of Dutch power in India. Dutch, there is one palace in Kochi called the Bogati Palace, sort of popular Dutch palace in India. Bogati Palace, and similar to Dutch, there's also Danish people. Danish East India Company arrived in Nicobar, and Denmark also had some presence along with Netherlands in India. Eventually, Netherlands also gave up all their possessions to the East India Company and left. Last current affairs of the day. There's a place in Uttarakhand called Lansdowne, named after the Viceroy of India, um, fifth Marquess of Lansdowne, 1888. Lansdowne Cantonment Board is actually the administrating authority of the Lansdowne city, Lansdowne town, 280 kilometers from Delhi in Uttarakhand. He is being renamed as Jashwantgarh after rifleman Jaswant Singh Rawat, Mahavir Chakra winner 1962 war with China. Good morning, Antariba. So Henry Charles Keith Petty Fitzmaurice, or also commonly called the fifth Marquess of the Lansdowne, was actually a British politician and a viceroy to be serving from 1888 to 1894, somewhere after Lord Ripon and before Lord Curzon. During his period only, we see the Anglo-Manipur War of 1891, where Manipuri heroes Jikendraji, General Thangal were actually hanged in public, and many others were sent to Kalapani. The Cantonment Board, the Lansdowne Cantonment Board, has now sort of decided that they want to rename this place under an Indian rifleman and as a Jashwantgarh. Rifleman Jashwant Singh Rawat was actually the guy on whose name they want to rename this, and he is known for being given the Mahavir Chakra during his role in the 1962 battle, or fighting the 1962 battle. It's part of the Northeast Frontier Agency, Arunachal Pradesh. Jashwant Singh was serving in the 4th Battalion of the Garhwal Rifles, and as per the records, this battalion had beaten back two Chinese charges on their positions. During the third, a Chinese medium machine gun came close to India's defenses and was firing accurately at Indian positions. Jaswant Singh volunteered to silence the machine gun. He attacked under the cover fire of two others, Lance Naik Trilok Singh and Gopal Singh Hussain. He neutralized the Chinese detachment, but unfortunately, he was fired. I mean, he became a victim of the bullet wound, and eventually he died along with due to injuries. Jaswant Singh's heroism in actually controlling the Chinese medium machine gun made him very popular, and eventually he was given the Mahavir Chakra title posthumously in honor of his role in Battle of Nuaranang. Today, there is a post on his name, the Jashwant Singh post, and they are going to rename Lansdowne as Jashwantgarh. They're going to completely rename this place. So these were some of the happening current affairs for the last couple of days, yesterday and the day before yesterday. And let us see the first question for the day. Consider the following statements regarding Angkor Wat Temple. Angkor Wat is a temple complex in Vietnam. The temple is constructed in the Dravidian style and sculptures depict episodes from Ramayana and Mahabharata. It was transformed into a Buddhist temple towards the end of the 12th century. Which are the above statements? These are correct. Which of the above statements these are correct? Answer will be B. It's actually in Cambodia. One of the largest religious centers, pilgrimage centers, and also single largest Hindu temple complex. It was originally constructed as a Hindu temple dedicated to God Vishnu for the Khmer Empire, but eventually it was later transformed into a Buddhist temple towards the end of 12th century. It was built by Khmer King Suryavarma II, Suryavarma II, in the early 12th century in Yashodarapura, the capital of the Khmer. The temple is constructed in Dravidian style and sculptures depict episodes from Ramayana and Mahabharata. Ramayana and Mahabharata. Operation Jackpot is related to World War II, Boko Haram insurgency, Boston Tea Party, and Bangladesh Liberation War. Ametya Shivachandala Madhyamamshadi Dushita. Operation Jackpot. It is actually part of the operation where India was supporting Mukti Bahini. It was a codename for three operations undertaken by Bengali Mukti Bahini in former East Pakistan against the Federation of Pakistan during the Bangla Liberation War. The military activities of Mukti Bahini were also called the Operation Jackpot. Parasnath Parvat. Recently, news is located. कहाँ पे है पारसनाथ पर्वत? Facts. सबसे भयंकर वाले क्वेश्चंस होते हैं सिंगल लाइन वाले. गेस करने की गुंजाइश ही नहीं है इसमें. नो अपॉर्चुनिटी टू गेस. आंसर इज बी. झारखंड. शिखारजी समेत शिखरा. समेत शिखारजी at Parashnath Parvat, Giri district, taking leaders of many faiths have joined hands to save the hill that Jain community considers sacred. 20 out of 24 Tirthankaras attained moksha at Parashnath Parvat. The hill itself is named after Parshvanatha, the 23rd Tirthankara. Sumet Shikhara. See, government did a proposal to see if they can develop Parashnath Parvat as a tourist space. But इसके लिए Jain community is opposed because if it becomes a tourist place, then there will be just too much of tourism. That will lead to decline in the quality. Too many people will visit and पूरी तरह खत्म हो जाएगा. You know what happens when tourists come, and that too a domestic Indian tourist comes. Consider the following statements regarding Amavasya Act. It regulates the preservation and monumentation, monuments and archaeological sites of national importance in India. Archaeological Survey of India, which is under the aegis of Union Ministry of Culture, functions under the Amavasya Act. Amavasya Act protects monuments and sites that are more than 100 years old, including cemetery inscriptions, step wells, and rock cut caves. Which are the statements is or are correct? 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Amavasya Act. Answer is D. Perfect. AMASA regulates the preservation of monuments and archaeological sites of national importance. CSI is under the aegis of the Union Ministry of Culture, which works under this act. And the act prevents monuments and sites that are more than 100 years old, including temples, cemeteries, inscriptions, tombs, sports places, palaces, temples, rock cut caves, and even objects like cannons and mile pillars that may be of historical importance from being changed. According to AMASA, AS officials are supposed to regularly inspect the monuments to assess their conditions. Shatrunjay Hill, a holy site for Jains, which was recently in news, is located in Ametya Chivachandala Madhyamam Sadhudusita. It's in Gujarat. Jain community has been doing protests in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, New Delhi over the last couple of weeks. Jains are demanding that Shatrunjay Hill and the area around it be protected as to maintain its holiness, not convert it into pilgrim site. What is the chronological order of the following revenue systems? Rayatwari, permanent settlement, Mahalwari, auction system. I love chronology questions. Should be A. Which Governor General introduced auction system? Auction system किनका है? Warren Hastings. Yes, that's what he said. Consider the following statements regarding Ganga Sagar Mela. Ganga Sagar Mela is a religious event celebrated in West Bengal. Pilgrims visit Sagar Island and take a dip at the confluence of Ganga and Bay of Bengal on the occasion of Makar Sankranti. Like Kumbh Mela, it has been accorded national status. Which of the following statements these are correct? 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just get some water. Answer this. Ganga Sagar Mela. Answer A. Didi said no. Didi reiterated her demand that the center should accord national status to Ganga Sagar Mela. अभी दीदी ने डिमांड किया अगर ज्यादा नहीं सुने तो डीडी इंडिपेंडेंस डिक्लेयर कर देगी. यू नो हु इज दीदी नो? बिल्कुल. Lakhs of pilgrims visit Sagar Island from different parts of the country and take a holy dip at the confluence of the sacred Ganga and Bay of Bengal on the occasion of Makar Sankranti. Bhavan Kashi Subodh Ratnakar was published by Sunday. Pretty simple. I mean, this is my point of view. अभी केदारनाथ में जो किया था, did that couple did do they have to do it in Kedarnath only? मतलब भूमि धरती पे सिर्फ केदारनाथ मिला था? Exactly. That's the point. See, look, I'll tell you very simple logic. I'll tell you very simple logic. Religion is a social commodity. If a religion doesn't permit something, don't do it. If you're not going to, just because they proposed in front of Kedarnath, it's not as if that they're going to be ever living ever after happy, never fighting. ऐसा नहीं होगा ना. शादी करेंगे तो भी झगड़ा भी तो होगा. तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि सिर्फ केदार unnecessarily for the sake of their newspaper popularity and Instagram popularity, they have misused a religious entity for doing something which is not acceptable in the temple. शिवा तो कॉर्नर गली के कॉर्नर वाले मंदिर में भी मिलते हैं, केदारनाथ में ही क्यों? ना ना, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure their intention was to purposefully become popular. Negative publicity. It was negative publicity. जानबूझ के किया था बस. एंड ऐसे लोगों की वजह से सोशल सोशल हार्मनी डिस्टर्ब होता है. There are certain things which are not to be done. If there's no benefit in doing that, there's no point of doing it. See, we don't know them. Sandeep, just understand. We don't know them. You and I don't know them. But sitting here online on YouTube, I'm actually discussing about them and you're actually asking about them. फ्री में पब्लिसिटी मिल गया ना. क्रिटिसिज्म ज्यादा दिन नहीं बचता. Eventually, that couple, if they get married and their child will go to school and he will say, मेरे मम्मी पापा उस टाइम में टॉप थे, केदारनाथ में किया था उन्होंने, बहुत दंगल हुआ था. I mean, he'll be telling it very popularly. Unwanted. Bhavan Kashi Subodh Ratnakar was written by Savitriba. Savitriba Phule published her collection of poems called Kavya Phule. At the age of 23, she published Bhavan Kashi Subodh Ratnakar, the Ocean of Pure Gems, in 1892. No? Has the following statements regarding Swami Vivekananda. Vivekananda was an exponent of Vedantic philosophy. He rejected the external rituals of religion. He spelled out the pathways of attaining moksha from worldly pleasure and attachment. He founded the Ramakrishna mission. Which of the above statements is correct? See, as somebody who teaches art and culture, ये मेरा point of view है. As long as you are in this country, you may consider me conservative. You can consider country conservative. There are certain things you can't do here. It's a simple logic. Every country has this. You can't just go to America, United States of America, and start tearing the photo of Washington or Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Jefferson on the streets, people will beat you. It's a simple logic. Not just religion, Parth. It's not just religion. China में, even if you don't like Mao, you're not permitted to just talk nonsense about Mao in China. Same in North Korea. If you don't like Kim Il Sung, just shut up. Don't try to express him. And in America, if you don't like George W. Bush or the Barack Obama or the Benjamin Franklin or the Thomas Jefferson, don't mess around with them. मैरिज होती है, प्यार नहीं. संदीप, marriage is entirely different. Proposals, rejections, live-in relationship, these are not something you want to associate with religion. Other than the intention of trying to get unwanted, unpaid social media publicity, I don't see the point of actually running a marriage proposal or a love proposal in the temple, and that too in Kedarnath. I mean, I don't see the point. Maybe I'm missing something. Or ऐसे लोग, I mean, I put these people on the category of social nuisance. Like, for example, I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy called Salman Rushdie. कभी सुना उनके बारे में? Salman Rushdie. Yeah. Uncle wrote a book called Satanic Verses. And recently, आंख फोड़ दिया था किसी ने. Somebody broke his eye, right? Somebody attacked him. Sorry to say this, but this was long overdue. Nobody asked his opinion on Prophet Muhammad. If Salman Rushdie does not like Prophet Muhammad, so be it. अपना मुंह बंद रखें, क्योंकि there are another 60 countries which believe in him. There is another 2.5 billion people who worship him or who literally surrender to his teachings. He wrote a book called Satanic Verses, basically calling Quran as a book of Shaitan. कोई जरूरत नहीं था. His only intention of writing that book was to get unwanted cheap publicity. Because nobody knew him until that. But once he wrote these satanic verses, he became the most popular writer. आपको अल्लाह पसंद नहीं तो मुबारक हो, पर हमको पसंद है ना. There is an entire earth this entire part of earth which praise Allah, which follows Prophet Muhammad. Unwanted, unnecessary writings on Prophet Muhammad actually creates more social disturbances than benefits. Makes no sense. I mean, we can't sacrifice the society for the sake of cheap publicity of one cheap English writer. Agreed? मर्यादा की सीमा को हमेशा. Exactly. Sweden, probably Swedish government is absolutely the dumbest government in the world. And that too, there was no reason. France में at least there was a reason that they shot dead and everything. Sweden वाले तो बेकार का ही फंस गए. No point. मतलब, okay, by burning one Quran, what have you achieved? You have not ended Islam. You have not stopped people from converting to Islam. You have not made the Islamic world a Christian world. What's the point? Zero tangible benefit. who persists to Sweden will now become victim of social disturbance and international condemnation. Swami Vivekananda, 1, 3, 4. He believed in spiritual supremacy as a central theme, and he urged the people, especially the youth, to never let go of their reason. There's only one existence. He saw the entire universe as manifestation of absolute one. Vivekananda was an exponent of the Vedantic Hinduism. He articulated that external rituals of religion are of secondary importance, but spiritual essence of the religion is more important. So he was not against the rituals, but he always believed that rituals are just an auxiliary thing in the religion, not the primary purpose of the religion. And Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Swami Vivekananda talked about the 4 paths of attaining moksha, the 4 different channels of yoga in attaining salvation. Which of the following is correctly matched? Books dispatch, primary education, Alter Commission, secondary education, Daily Commission, University Education, Sadler Commission, rejection of filtration theory. See, I'll tell you one thing. Same like Salman Rushdie, same like the Kedarnath Wale couple are some of the anti-Modis or the anti-BJP or the leftists of India. You may see, I understand as a democracy, you may dislike Modi and dislike BJP, but you can't ignore that, yes, after Modi has come, India's stature, at least globally, has increased substantially. This, even if Modi's critic is not agreeing, then something is wrong with him. Modi has achieved what could not be achieved. We were at the same popularity as we were during the period of Nehru. Those early days. By the way, Woods Dispatch. uh, Position of filtration theory. Rayleigh Commission, University Commission, Universities Act 1904 actually was based on the Rayleigh Commission. Who founded the Indian Reform Association in 1870? Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Debendranath Tagore, Keshav Chandra Sen, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. India matter करता है. There is no other way. Keshav Chandra Sen, Indian Reform Association, as a side project of Brahmo Samaj. The objective was to put into practice some of the ideas of Sen that exposed during his visit to Great Britain. Which of the following books was not written by Dayanand Saraswati? Satyarth Prakash, Ved Prakash, Satyarth Bhumika, Ved Bhasha Bhumika. Okay, guys. So, answer is B. For today, let us end this session here. Let us continue tomorrow in the morning at 9 a.m. Tomorrow, we will start the class at 9 a.m. itself. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow in the morning. That's it in this session. You have a nice day. Thank you. Bye bye.